There are unfortunately so many art supplies that you should never waste your money on. Firstly, let's talk about the wooden human model, or mannequin, or whatever it is actually called. I don't care. You know, this guy, the one who has the same flexibility as a folding chair. It can be somewhat effective to an extent. Like if you really have no idea about drawing people, I guess it can be useful for learning that humans are made of cylinders and rectangles, because that is so groundbreaking. Wow. But when you actually want to do some more advanced stuff, you finally get why this wooden guy is so hated on in the art community. No muscles, no skeletal landmark, no indication of how body actually bends. The pose you can do with this wooden junk is very limited. Like, you want to have a running pose? No. Jumping? No. Anything that might be just a little bit more dramatic? No. Best I can do is standing, but in a spicy way. Also, am I the only one who thinks that the proportion on this just feel kinda off? Like the limbs are weird, the joints just don't sit right on it, and it is actually so wild because people, and especially beginners, buy this thinking that, oh, this will help me learn the human body. That is just straight up sad to think about. I also want to mention here quickly the evil cousin of the wooden mannequin, the hand. It is just so hilarious in general how hands are honestly the hardest thing to draw, and the company who made this just thought, what if we made them even harder? And also wrong, it doesn't even slightly move like a real hand does. So I don't blame everyone, including me, who got this a while back and only made one pose with it and left it sitting at their desk or shelf for years collecting dust. But if you need someone to hold your rings or just cool decor, I guess it can work for that purpose. But like for real, if you want to draw anatomically correct poses, please try to use like photos, videos, mirrors, literally just any living human being. And the best part is that is literally free, unlike this wooden crap. Ew. Next, let's talk about the art supply that at least a few years ago was super trendy and probably none of us were spared from witnessing it. The jelly gouache. And specifically the Himi gouache. Like, you know what I am talking about. This one is a big example of not everything that is trendy is actually good. The packaging on it and the box itself with the paints is very aesthetic, like, not gonna lie. Beautiful. Very much giving TikTok made me buy this. It became popular because it is cheap, not because it is actually any good. The paints themselves are streaky and layering with them is actually a total nightmare. I have also heard that they might smell quite awful. I think the biggest con though is that the paints start drying out the second you open the box. You need to be constantly misting them with water spray, like every other minute, unless you want to paint with gouache with the same consistency as a brick. Also, a rule of thumb with these is do not mix colors. Ever. You got that? Do not. Unless you want to make mud, then please go ahead and try. I don't think anyone should use these for paintings they plan on selling, but I guess if you want to mess around a bit and enjoy a challenge and want to try asserting dominance on jelly gouache, you might want to get these. But still, please do not. Just use normal gouache and it will save you from many headaches. I know the tubes don't look as aesthetic and beautiful as this thing does, but just trust my word. Don't get this. Please, girly. Anyway, moving on. This next one might cause some confusion because yeah, it is technically not an art supply, but also I don't know what category it would belong then. But yeah, educational drawing books. The ones like how to draw manga, how to draw realistic eyes, how to draw anything in 10 easy steps. These are actually just how to replicate thing X without actually learning the mechanics and form of thing X that you're trying to draw. In a nutshell, the instructions go something like this. Step 1, draw a circle. Step 2, draw another circle next to it. Step 3, do some curvy, squiggly lines around the circles and you have just finished a masterpiece. Hooray! But my question is, where did the skill actually come from? Many of these books lack the teaching of actual fundamentals and are mostly focused on teaching how to copy one very specific style badly. I'm not saying all educational art books are like this, like there are definitely some good ones out there that can actually be worth your money, time, and effort. But from my personal experience, these are just decorations on your bookshelf that give you a false sense of your own artistic capabilities. I would much more highly recommend getting like reference books, for example. Or just as with the wooden mannequin, look at pictures and other actually useful like that. And also, if you really have urge to get your hands on these books, you can find a lot of these as free PDFs online. So at least you won't be wasting your money. Also, watching videos about how to draw different things from YouTube is a viable strategy nowadays, and it actually shows you in more detail every step of the drawing process. And you can even leave comments too if you don't get something. Woohoo! Win-win! This one might cause some friction in the comments, but what the hell? I want to bring it up anyway. Stencils. And before anyone starts aggressively typing in the comments, yes, I know that using reference is fine, and it is what you're actually supposed to do anyway, but stencils are not about references though, because they are mostly just about tracing, but with some extra steps. Using stencils for simple shapes such as circles or rectangles is totally fine. Blessed even. Like, oh man, I don't even know where I would be today without my precious circle stencil, because drawing the same circle 12 times is just honestly. Don't put yourself through that one, guys. But if you use stencils for more complex shapes, like full-on motifs or designs, and calling that your own work, that is where it gets not so cute anymore. And this also applies to digital stencils too, so don't think you digital gremlins will be spared from this rant. If your typical workflow goes like number 1, drop stencil, number 2, trace, number 3, repeat, you're not building your drawing skills at all, just building dependency. And the whole thing just feels kinda lazy. And I'm not saying this to hate on young beginner artists who like to use stencils, but I'm saying it because, like, why are you skimming the part of drawing where you actually learn how to draw? But honestly, if you want to with stencils, please do that. Like, whatever makes you happy, I won't stop you. But personally, I would not go for it. Just learn how to draw. Now, let's finally talk about the real enemy number 1. And I have a strong feeling most of us will agree on this one. Cheap paper. The art supply that has ruined more artists' dreams than any other art supply in existence. If you would have to choose between spending your birthday money on good quality paper or fancy supplies, I have just one thing to say to you. Always choose the paper. And it is not a suggestion, it is actually a rule, a law that you need to follow. Choosing the right paper is especially important when you want to use more wet mediums like watercolor, for example. There's just no way to replace good 100% cotton paper, and this is where your artist skills are literally pay to win. You will see a big difference with your skills when using the right paper and not the cheapest printer paper that you can find from the store. If you have ever tried making art and wondered, why can I not blend? Why does this look so bad? Why do I hate this medium? At least 4 out of 5 times the problem is not you. It is the paper trying to gaslight you. Worst part about this is that if you have settled on to use cheap paper, you have also started adjusting your art techniques to survive the paper instead of learning the medium itself properly. And you might have missed out on some techniques that are actually important and overworking more than you should. And I'm so sorry for you, bestie, if this is your reality. So if your budget is tight like it usually is, because hello, we are artists over here, please skip the fancy supplies and invest in good paper. Wow, this sounds like a sales pitch. Okay, art kiddos, moving on. Copic markers. Yeah, I know, please everyone calm down. Are they good? Yeah, of course, no doubt about that one. But are they that good? Well, let me just say something about that. No. First of all, they are incredibly overpriced. It is just straight up insane. For the price of just one singular Copic marker, you would be able to get like 3 or 4 markers from other brands. And yeah, they might not be at the same level as Copics, but do they really have to be anyway? Other markers also blend and layer and also just work completely fine. Crazy, right? Whoa. I feel like Copics didn't become the standard back in the day because they are the only good option out there. They became the standard because of early YouTube hype, professional artist culture, and marketing. And because of all this, beginners now feel like, oh man, if I don't have my 72 marker set of Copic sketch markers, I'm not a real artist and never will be. And this is just a scam, guys. Yeah, of course you can become a good artist. I think most of us are better off just buying multiple markers with more colors from other brands, such as like Ohuhu or RTX, instead of investing crazy amounts on just one expensive pen with a brand name. Copics are not bad, they are just not worth the hype or the price. And let me just quickly clarify that if you are actually a professional level artist who makes a living from your marker artwork, then yeah, of course, investing in Copics sounds great for you. Good for you, babe. Anyway, those were my hot takes, and if your favorite art supply was on the list, I am so sorry, babe. Now, I need you to tell me in the comments, what is an art supply you bought that absolutely disappointed you. I would love to hear about that. Anyway, we will see in the next video, our kiddos. Bye bye.